Hey guys, it's Cody with Home to Homestead, and today I'm going to be showing you two different methods to get the sight height for your rifle. You may be asking yourself, like, why do I want the sight height? What do I need it for? Well, the main reason you want it for is ballistic calculations, right? So when you're doing a ballistic calculator, one of the main factors that you need in order to get the accurate height is your scope height, right? And you need that, and there's two different ways of doing it too. There's a really easy way, which I'm going to show you. This is for the people who are just trying to get these things done, not really super precision shooters, just the folks that are out there, 100-yard shots, deer hunters, stuff like that, nothing super crazy. The next way I'm going to show you is like the super exact method, and it's way more intense than the first one, and this is for your long-range precision shooters. There's definitely people who know more than me about this, but I'm just showing you what I use and how I was taught to do it. So yeah, just stick around, and here we go. Before we begin, I'm just going to edit this part in. Scope height isn't really a big deal. I know I've seen different opinions on scopes being too high, too low, etc., stuff like that. The biggest thing is your cheek weld, right? If you're having to lift your face off of your rifle to get a solid ocular picture and you're not able to maintain that cheek weld, well, then your scope is too high, right? You know, I was taught, you know, people will argue differently with me, but as long as you're able to maintain that cheek weld and you're comfortable, then your scope height is okay, right? I know that some people get kind of anal about this stuff and that they kind of lose their minds. For me, my scope height works for me because of the way I shoot, and I'm able to maintain a positive cheek weld. And this weekend, you know, I was able to, you know, shoot my Oryx at 500 yards, which is super cool. Using this rifle and this setup. So my whole point is be comfortable and make it make sense for you, right? If you feel like your scope height is too high and you're not able to maintain that ocular picture and you're moving your face all over trying to keep the cheek weld, well, then your scope is too high, and you may want to consider either getting different mounting rings or going without the rings, or, you know, having someone, a professional gunsmith, mount that scope in a way that fits your cheek weld. All right. Thank you for this little, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now let's get into the actual, you know, sight height measurements. All right, guys, so the first method we're going to do is the really easy one. This one's super quick. So all you're going to do is get your rifle, and we're going to verify the rifle is safe and clear. Yep, safe and clear. We're going to take the bolt assembly, and what I like to do is I like to push it about even with the bottom lip of my scope. And if you can see, I'm just going to move you real quick so you kind of see how these two things are almost even. So I'll put you back. All right. So now all you're going to do is take a tape measure. And if you have one of these little small steel rulers, like they're about 6 inches long, about this wide, those work super great for this application. I don't have them laying around the house, so I'm using a tape measure. Once again, we're not trying to be super exact. This is just for like basic knowledge of how high our scope is, right? So I'm gonna take my scope, or my ruler, and I'm gonna kind of just lock it in place so that way it holds. So I take the tip of the ruler and I put it halfway in my bolt assembly. And then I'm going to hold that and go to the middle of my optic, okay? So the middle of my optic is just about, I'm gonna say 2.6 inches. It's right, it's like either 2.5 or 2.6, so 2.5, or, you know, just above at 2.6. And that's really it. That's as easy as it is. It doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. You know, like I said, there's people out there who will lose their minds, you know, about this. These people who know a lot more than me. However, this is how I was taught to do it. I'm gonna show you the way more complicated way of doing it. You know, this worked for me when I was on deployment. I'm gonna show you another way that, you know, our snipers did it, and they are a lot smarter about this than me. So here's the second way. All right, guys, so this next method, you're gonna need a piece of paper, a pen, a tape measure, probably a calculator, because I'm not good at math. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to measure your bolt diameter and divide it by half, okay? So I don't have a super exact ruler, right? So my bolt diameter You know, I Googled this stuff, so just being completely upfront with you. I Googled this stuff, but you would measure it, and I have a Remington 700 long action. So my bolt diameter is 6.95 inches. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna divide that by half. So I end up with 0.3475 bolt diameter in inches, 0.3475 inches bolt diameter. Next, you're gonna measure your optic. So once again, I Googled this, that's how I have the knowledge, but you know, I'm just gonna come up here, you know, measure my optic from each side, right? And the Vortex Viper HD 3x15 is 1.81 inches wide, okay? So you divide that by half. So you end up with 0.591, okay? Next, you are going to measure your bolt in gun from the top of your bolt to the bottom of your optic. So what I do is I pick the middle piece of the optic, okay? And so all you're gonna do, once again, I lock my little scope, my little tape measure here, and I just stick it here, right? Boom. We lean over, and we end up with 1.75 inches, okay? So right now, my important numbers are 0.3475 bolt diameter, 0.591 ocular diameter, and 1.75 inches for my scopes, from my top of my bolt to the bottom of my optic. Now you're going to add those numbers together. So I'm getting my calculator here because I'm terrible at math. So we're going to go 0.3475 plus 0.591 plus 1.75, which will give us 2.6885. So I believe in the first part of the video, I said I was either at 2.5 or around 2.5 or 2.6. You know, if you round up, you're at 2.7. So if I were to go into my ballistic calculator and program that in, right? I'm just gonna say 2.6. Boom. And we go. We end up with some changes inside our ballistic calculator, and that's why it's important. Because when I first started using my ballistic calculator, I just had to set the default, which was my 2 inches. But now that I've gone in here and I have changed to that 2.6, 2.7, I can see there are changes inside my ballistic calculator. Anyways, guys, that's it. The first method, more than likely, you can just Google 95% of the measurements that you need and then just divide them by half. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Anyways, this has been Cody with Home to Homesteads. This video has helped you out. I would appreciate a like and subscribe. You guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Just want to say thank you for sticking with us. We hit our goal of 100 subscribers this year, which is super crazy considering how short we've been doing this. Now on to 200. Anyways, guys, this has been Cody, out here.